Hello everyone, this time I will be reviewing Rygar. This NES game sure is a great classic, just like its arcade counterpart. Now, unlike the arcade, the NES version contained a much more expanded action-adventure format and contains some RPG elements as well, such as leveling up and obtaining certain quest items. Tecmo released this game in 1987, yeah, the same company who eventually makes the Ninja Gaiden series, and some may think the NES version is even better than the arcade. Well, let's find out right now what makes this game so great. When you start the game, you have that nice sunrise setting, and you got your typical jump and attack buttons. You can jump on enemies just like in the Mario games. Instead of killing them, you just simply bounce off them. Okay, since when did enemies become like weird trampolines? Anyways, every section you come across, the entire scenery changes, as well as the music. So once you climb up the tree by using a rope, you'll come to a door. Enter it and you'll be in a little green temple-like room with a giant-sized sage. Now, wait a minute. Doesn't this music remind you of a similar game most of us, if not all of us, hate? I thought so. Another thing I find odd about this room is that after you read the sage's advice, you can go back to the door, or you actually have the option of committing suicide, just to say, fuck it all, I'm gonna go kill myself. Anyways, you'll be at the beginning of the game and have to traverse back all the way to the little temple room. Now to get out of here, head to the door, and apparently you have to do something else. Is it attack? Down? Up? Select? Start? No. To get out of here, you have to jump. When you're in high areas, and if by some chance you accidentally fall or purposely kill yourself, you start from the beginning of the last area you were in, so that's a good thing. So I'm making my way to the mountain area, and there's a ledge to jump to. Now I stop for a little bit, and all of a sudden, every enemy possible from all places is trying to kill me. But apparently, they don't know of a special skill called After that little scenario, you visit a couple more sages' little rooms and get more info and then move on. However, sometimes you get useful advice, and other times it's just plain nonsense and a complete waste of time, like fight, fight, fight! Like, what do you think I've been doing all this time? Trying to find multiple ways of dying? Which I have partially did. That's not the point! Or, it's 2 AM and it's time for the monsters to awaken. But the monsters are already awakened, so what the hell is this 2 AM shit? Stupid sage. Eventually you'll visit specific rooms and the sage will tell you you can't progress any further without such a weapon. This is where those special quest items will come in for later. Afterwards, you get to one last doorway that turns into an overhead map area. Now this is pretty much where the hell do I go next situation begins. Either figure out for yourself, which I did in playing this game, or do it the fast and easy way by using some sort of guide material and actually know where you're going. So at times, the game will shift to different views depending on what part of the game you're at. Now after you get a certain number of hits, your max life will increase, according to your stats in the menu. Now about the menu. What the fuck is this? Tone? Last? Mine? No, no, no. Eventually you know what these terms mean, but basically tone is attack, last is defense, and mine is magic points. Basically, the more tone and last you have, the higher your power, defense, and max life becomes. Unfortunately, those stats carry on anytime you die. Now the mine or magic points is gained by collecting stars from enemies, and you can store a max of 7 stars, so you can use one of 3 spells. Power Up consumes 3 mine and basically increases your attack for as long as you don't die. Attack and Assail consumes 5 mine and will damage all enemies on screen, but it can be used only 10 times. Finally is Recover, which basically heals your life to max, but it consumes all 7 of your mine. There are not that many common items to collect in this game. It's basically either stars, which sometimes you'll find 2 of, or a life potion which increases your health by 1. Sometime later in the game, you'll come to a sage room and he'll tell you if you found out the coat of arms yet, which is one of the quest items. Once you do get it after fighting one of the bosses of the game, he'll give you a big life potion, which will completely fill up your health, and the good part is you can keep getting these special items again and again to store for later use. As far as the music goes in this game, I have mixed feelings about it. Sometimes we get music that actually works and pleasant to hear with the area or dungeon you're currently in, and other times it seems like a few beats of music recycled over and over again, and it starts to get very annoying after a while. Now, the dungeons you visit can be done in pretty much any random order, provided you have the proper quest items. There really isn't much to do except leveling up your character, increase your mind and life gauge, and make your way to the boss. When you finally get to the bosses, the music completely stops and gets replaced with 8-bit vomiting horrendousness. Exactly how lame, or should I say disgusting, can this boss music be? Now take a look at the attack pattern of the first boss. Does it remind you of another boss who has the same exact attack pattern? Anyways, these bosses can either be hard or easy depending on the tone, last, and max life of your character. Chances are if you're not rushing through this game, they will most likely be easy to defeat. Now this boss, Lapis, has probably got to be the lamest and easiest boss in the game. First of all, the only way to damage him is to climb up using a grappling hook, and constantly attack him while at times jump over his attacks. And that's it, since he never moves! Apparently, all the enemies you encounter in the dungeon tower, where you get the Pegasus loot, are nothing but recycled bosses, just different sprites. And I mean all of them. Even the main boss is the same as the Lapis boss, except this time, he faces you and you not facing him from behind. Now for the quest items you receive after defeating the bosses, the first you receive is the grappling weapon even before you enter the first dungeon. Use it to reach almost impossible areas that seem like jumping is not an option, and sometimes you have to take wild shitty guesses when pointing up or down random areas of the screen to know if you're going in the right direction.
Holy fucking shit!
Other quest items to obtain are the pulley, crossbow, coat of arms, suit of armor, and the Pegasus flute, which will give you access to Rygar's floating fortress in the sky. In the end, considering all the glitches, awkward boss music, and useless advice encountered, the game is still pretty good and enjoyable. I heard that people playing this game had to leave their Nintendo systems overnight for days or even weeks before finally beating it. Now we are at the age of technology where we can say, thank God for emulator save states. Overall, I give this game a 7.75 out of 10. I would have given it a higher rating if it wasn't for some of the music and boss fights. Is this game replayable? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. Is it one of the greatest NES games of all time? I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely recommend playing this game. So until next review, see you next time.